tons of risk in surgery, and we've improved the accuracy of knee replacement surgery by 3 to 4 times what they can do with just their eyes. So before it was a saw and a cutting jig and making cuts, and now we have a CT scan, and we build basically a room around those implants that your burr can't go too deep, can't go too high, too low. If you press too hard, the barrel will just shut off, the power shuts off. So we've made surgery a lot safer and a lot more accurate. Now, just 2 weeks ago, we released a new hip replacement product. That's what this picture is down here at the bottom. So we build the software, we build the hardware, the robot, and we design the implants that go in the body as well. The company does all of those things. So I started with the company in January of 2009, and this is the 5-year look at our stock. So the value of the company has grown to become a $1.5 billion company. So I always say that since they hired me, I've added $1.5 billion of value to the company. But some of that's coincidence and some of it's true. But so MAKO's on a run. It may be too late to buy stock and make a lot of money, but so I wanted to get into some really practical things now about your career, things that I've learned or I've had people tell me, and I wanted to go over whether or not it's true or not. So people give you advice, but does it work or does it not work? So dress for the job you want, not the job you have. True or false?
True.
True. Absolutely. Wear what your boss wears. If I come to work every day dressed like this, my employees should dress like this. If I was to wear jeans and t-shirts, you can get away with wearing jeans and t-shirts. It all depends on what industry you're in and the culture of your company. If you work at Google and Mark Zuckerberg wears jeans, okay, you can wear jeans. The CEO wears jeans. But if you work in the medical device business, you generally wear what your customer wears, and doctors don't wear jeans to work. Some do, but most of them wear a tie. You know, they have their white lab coat on, their dress shirt, their tie. So when I go to see my customers, I have on a tie. I dress like this every day, but there are a lot of jeans where I work. A lot of the engineers wear that, but I expect my marketing team, because you never know when a doctor's going to be in and you're going to have to talk to them. And they come in and they have on the coat quite often. So just think about that with what you wear, and dress like your boss. That's the most important thing. Arrive before your boss and leave after he or she is gone. Does that sound like good advice or not? Well, it's true or false? True. It's kind of a trick question. Yes and no. So if your boss is a workaholic, you can't outwork your boss, so don't even try, right? But if you stay until 7 p.m. at night doing a bunch of work, and you develop this reputation for being able to crank out a bunch of stuff, guess what they're going to do? Just give you more. Just give you more. Make you work till 9 o'clock at times. So my advice about how hard you work is work hard enough to be noticed. So that doesn't mean if you're getting noticed for just doing a little bit, lay around, right? But stay some nights late. Do whatever it takes to get noticed so people realize that you do good work, but don't give up the rest of your life. You need to have your outside activities, your family, keep everything in perspective. So work enough to be noticed. Getting an engineering degree and then an MBA. Is that a good idea? Bad idea? I see a good one versus a good idea. Some of you thinking about doing that? Maybe. So MBAs are becoming more and more common, or at least master's degrees. But even if you want to stay in engineering, this is a good choice. It's not like they're not, you know, oh, you can be head of engineering now because you have an MBA. You know, that doesn't really matter anymore. An MBA, you know, rounds out your overall business scope. But if you want to stay in engineering or engineering management, then a master's in something else will work. If you want to get a, you know, a master's in mechanical engineering or whatever, but it's going to be harder for you to move into Director of Customer Service or Director of Medical Education with a master's in mechanical engineering, right? They just don't go together. One, if you get an MBA, it rounds you out and you have that business management degree, right? So just think about that when you're making your decision. Here's a piece of advice I got early on. To become a vice president, get experience in sales or marketing, finance or accounting, and manufacturing. Does that seem like good advice or not? Does anybody want to be a VP? Good. Yeah, I mean, we all want to succeed. So I kind of took this to heart, and it's what set me on that pathway of diversification in my career. So get some international experience, get some experience in manufacturing I had at the very beginning, get into sales and marketing. And it's more important to, this says it all, breadth of experience is just as important, if not more important, than depth of experience in one particular area. So if you become an expert on metallurgy, titanium, stainless steel, cobalt, chrome, whatever metals are that are used in your industry, how far is that going to take you if you're trying to move up to vice president than if you've worked in Belgium and if you've done some sales and you know quite a bit about cobalt, chrome, stainless steel, titanium, right? So try to balance all that. But if you really like cobalt, chrome, stainless steel, become an expert and do it, you know, do whatever floats your boat. So it doesn't hurt to move around to these different areas. That's the point. Try to diversify if you want to move up. They're more likely to hire you to be vice president of marketing if you've had some manufacturing, some sales experience, and marketing experience than if you've just been in that silo, marketing. You can't see the whole world if you do that. And the corporate ladder is now a corporate lattice. So a lattice is, lots of rows and rungs rather than just one straight ladder. This is especially true for women. Don't think about, I'm going to be industrial engineer 1, then I'm going to become industrial engineer 2, and then I'm going to become engineering manager, and then maybe I'll get to be head of all of engineering, right? Don't think about it like that. You can if you want to, if that's what you want to do, but it's more important to move up and over and get diverse experiences, and then come back into engineering if that's what you want to do. But move around, and especially for women. And the reason is because in women, your life is going to ebb and flow about you're getting married or you're having children, and your children are requiring more time of you than previously. And it's hard to be in marketing and travel the world or travel all around the United States to see customers when you just had a baby and they're in preschool. You feel like you're being a terrible mom, or a terrible dad, for that matter, if you're the stay-at-home dad. So at some point in time, it's good to take that sideways move in your career, to get out of marketing, maybe become head of customer service, where it's more of a 9-to-5 job, and you can pick up your kids from school, be home, and do that for 2 or 3, 4 years. And then, when they're getting older and can take care of themselves more, then move back into something that takes more time and is a little more demanding. So don't think of your career as just going up that ladder. Think about, it's especially true for women, because your life is going to be moving. For some people these days, maybe these guys are at this point too, you can get, they call them tweeners, where you have kids that are in high school and your parents are elderly, and you're having to take care of your elderly parents and your high school students, So people face all different kinds of things in your life, and you need to back off of your job a little bit for 2 or 3 years till something happens with your parents or your kids get off to college or whatever. So just think about your experience, your work experience, more as a lattice than a ladder. Should you work overseas or not? I obviously know my answer to this already. Depends on what you want to do. If you have no interest in international business, then forget about it. But if you have any interest at all, you thought, one day, I'd like to go to Italy, go for it. Just do it. Do it. It changed my life. I look at the world completely differently since I did that. And my first piece of advice is, if you're seeking out a job like this, or you have the opportunity here in school to go somewhere, go do it. But the first thing is learn another language. I don't care if it's Korean or Mandarin, or if it's French, Spanish, German, or Russian. Learn another language, because when you interview for that job that's overseas, guess what the very first question they ask you is? Anybody guess?
Can you speak our language?
Can you speak another language? And you might be going to France. They don't care if you speak Spanish as your second language. The fact that you speak another language gets you the check in the box. You've done that. So I can't tell you, when I started trying to get those international jobs, that was always the first question. And so what I did was, I only had high school Spanish. I started at the University of Memphis in Spanish classes. And then when they would ask me that question, I would say, no, I don't speak another language, but I'm currently enrolled in, blah, 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 at the University of Memphis. So you have to do that. And guess what? I was studying Spanish, and the country I got moved to was Belgium. They speak French and Flemish in Belgium. So it doesn't really matter. Get that language under your belt. It's extremely important. Now, in what industry do you want to work? This is something nobody told me, but really, really important. Your first job can heavily affect your career for the next 5 or 6 years. You want to go to work for that first company. You want to get that promotion, right? You want to do that job and get that first promotion. It takes a little while to get a promotion. You don't work there for 12 months and they say, man, you are awesome. I'm going to give you a 10% raise in that office on the corner. That's just not how it works. You know, you have to build a reputation, do good work, and that takes time. So you're going to be in that industry, whether it's poultry, steel, you know, heart valves, stents, whatever you choose, you're probably going to be in it for a while, and your next job is probably going to be in that industry too. So think about that when you're interviewing, and if you have a passion for something, study it, write all your reports about it, give all your speeches about that particular area of interest here while you're in school, so that you have developed a little bit of an area of expertise, whether you're into chicken or computers or whatever it is. And that way, when you go on interviews, you can seek out companies in that industry space and be better than the other person that was just a generalist here. I was just a generalist, you know. I'd write one paper on computers and I'd write another paper about, my technical writing paper I can remember was on how to assemble a stapler. You know, why didn't I pick something about how to do an orthopedic surgery or something like that, so that when I got out I could have gotten an orthopedic job instead of what I'm doing, right? So just think about every project you do, how can I tie it into my area, my passion, that would be in an industry that I want to work in. So whether it's rockets or animal production, whatever it is, just think about it that way. Don't turn yourself down for a job. When a job comes along that you want, go for it. Even if you don't get it, the interviewing process is important. So the first international job you go into and they say, hey, do you speak another language? No. Right? Well, now I know what I got to do, right? I go out and learn another language. So always go for the job, never turn yourself down, and use that interview as a, you know, it's an opportunity to learn what you need to do to get the job if you don't get it. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have all that, you know, I don't have, there's 10 things here and I don't have this one, I can't apply. They'll just turn me down. Don't turn yourself down, let them turn you down, right? So always go for it, and it'll be a good learning experience. This is a good life lesson as well as a business lesson. When you're certain about something, 80% certain, you know, you're almost positive that's what you should do, then go for it. Start working on it. Don't wait until you're 100% sure. And if you have a big organization and you have 1,000 employees and you're like, you know, this product's tanking on us, everything's working well with this new one, the market, the future looks bright, the CEO, as soon as he comes to that conclusion, he starts turning the company toward that new product and going off in that direction. And you're always going to have people that are unhappy with that new direction, or they thought they were doing great and now they're not working on the hot team anymore because the hot team's now this product, you know. Things happen, but it's just a good piece of advice about anything. Should I get an MBA? Yeah, I want to get an MBA, but I want to wait till, don't wait, get going, get started. And as engineers, perfection is your enemy. Perfection is the enemy of completion, is the phrase I like to use a lot. You want everything to be just right, so you work on it, work on it. If I just had one more week, or if I just had 2 more days, I could do that calculation, or I could make that drawing. Get it done, get it good enough, get it to the point that it's good enough, and then move on. But that's something you'll probably, I see all brand new engineers struggle with when they start their first job. You never get the time to make it perfect. You guys agree with that? It's a great phrase. Where's my promotion? Here's some just basic factoids about a career that generally the teachers don't tell you. Your career is a marathon. It's not a 100-yard dash. There's not very many people that become head of a division at the age of 40 of a Fortune 500 company. If they did, their father probably was a big owner in the company, right, or something like that. So don't be frustrated. There's going to be times in your career when you're ahead and you think you're making more money than all the other people that are your age, and then 2 years later you feel like they've passed you by and you're still doing what you were doing 2 years ago and you're frustrated. So there's these things that happen in your career. It's a yin and yang type thing. But it took me 3 years to get my first promotion, and that was very, very frustrating. And I was working hard. I was doing like 60 and 70-hour weeks my entire time, and that's when I got my first promotion. And the guy that was before me, he was a really hard worker, and I really liked him and admired him. He was kind of like a mentor. It took him 3 years to get his first promotion too. Right? So don't think that you're going to get out there and just set the world on fire and